Hello. Welcome back.
We're here. We did it.
Again. So we've discussed having guests on. And we decided that we had two friends in mind, one of yours and one of mine. Mine happens to be here this week, so...
And was very adamant about being the first one.
Oh, very much so. Not surprising at all. So welcome, Sara Wolfe, to the We Who Were Not podcast.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Gladly. So I met Sara in 2018 in Sunday school, and then I went to a movie night at her house, and I thought she was rich and stuck up. I say this, I put it all on me. And then I said in our Sunday school Facebook page, I was like, who wants to go to a craft fair? We met at Starbucks, went over there, and then had to go to my house for canned goods. And then by the end of it, I had a job and a friend. And we've been inseparable ever since.
This is very true. It was completely a God thing. He just laid it on your heart to ask. And I was like, I want to go. And we didn't stop talking. We just jabbered the whole time and constantly kept connecting over and over and over and have been ever since.
Mm-hmm. So it's not a two-way conversation. We got to get Jessica in. Is there something you want to ask her? Anything.
Well,
doesn't have to be your one question. It can be anything.
Well, let's do the one question because that's just going to be
it's so much fun.
Okay. You're walking around downtown. You turn a corner.
Which downtown?
Doesn't
Your
matter.
downtown.
Okay.
Your downtown, sure. Turn a corner and there's a wormhole. Do you go through the wormhole?
Absolutely.
But what if it's like eternal hellfire on the other side?
Well, see, I don't think before I react, and I just kind of do things and get in trouble later. And so I am just going to hope for the best and be super excited. I'd probably actually throw something through it first to see what happened.
Fair, yeah.
And then if it didn't like come back out at me or flames didn't come out because I threw something through it, then I'd be like, let's see.
Fair. I would not. At all. I'm good.
Yeah, no, me either. I'd probably like start a live stream on my phone and tell everybody what's going on and then hook my phone in and see. But yeah, I don't think I would go through either.
There's a possibility I might throw like somebody I didn't care for through it first.
I definitely have to poke it with a stick too.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. To see what happened. But I'd be so extraordinarily curious. It would eat me alive until I found out.
I would be curious too, but the extremes of the possibilities,
because see, even when you asked that question, it didn't even enter my head that it could be hellfire. It didn't even cross my mind.
If it makes you feel better, most people answer like, yes, absolutely. And when I first started asking this question, I would have gone through too. But over the course of the years, my answer has changed to think ahead a little bit. It's like, but what if? What if it's something I can't get out of?
What if it's the most amazing thing ever?
See, but I already know how to get the most amazing thing ever. And it's just have Jesus and not go through a wormhole.
Oh, so. That was a trap.
It was a trap.
Kind of, sort of. The
most amazing thing ever this side of heaven.
Yeah, but is that like...
It's not Casper.
No, it's definitely not Casper. But would anything on the other side of the wormhole outweigh heaven?
No, it's anything. It's the best thing possible this side of heaven.
Right.
So it can't outweigh heaven.
But then at the same time, you have the possibility of the worst thing ever.
True, but that didn't enter my head.
Right.
Because I don't generally think my husband likes to say that I think in fluffy bunnies and butterflies and rainbows. And he's like, you realize the world's not like that. I'm like, I do. I recognize that. However, I will let you live in that world and tell me if I need to know anything, and I'm going to live over here.
So he'll stop you from going through the wormhole?
Yes, he probably will.
100% he would.
He would.
Okay.
And I would get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. I started asking this on dating apps, and it's less about the answer and more about how people answer and the conversation that comes out of it. There's a lot of dudes especially like, yeah, let's go for the adventure. But then double down on the like, it's worth the risk. I'm like, but is it worth the risk? Yeah, it's a window into how people.
So what does that mean my window is? It's filled with colors and rainbows.
Yeah, you said it. You nailed it. You know, you clearly know yourself.
It's one of those glass panes at a church that has all the colors in it and it's shining
Stained
through.
glass window?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's my window.
I 100% believe that with you.
That is, yeah, it's not my window, that's for sure.
Nor mine.
It's not based
Mine is
in
very
reality.
black and white.
My reality is nothing like that. So I like to live in the pretend world.
We need those breaks.
Yes, every piece of the puzzle is necessary. You got to have those people that live on the rainbow too. Helps balance out the people who worry about inescapable hellfire on the other side of the wormhole.
So then the other question is, are you allowed to come back through?
Well, you don't know until you go through.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, not worth the risk, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Okay. So now that we've had some giggles and I've explained how I know you and that you're one of my favorite people, I'll say that a lot. What is a moment in your life that really shaped who you are today?
Oh my. There are so many of those because my life has changed in so many ways. I don't even know how to narrow it down to one.
Then don't.
First one that comes to mind.
Start with that one and go forward.
Well, I'm going to have to say the adoption of my baby Laura. That has dramatically changed who I am. Well, no. It's changed how I react in a day-to-day situation, but it's not changed me fundamentally as a person. So I can't say that. I'm going to have to say, honestly, I don't know. I need to think on that one because it's so hard because I have a very dark past and I was a very angry child. And I don't feel like I am today. I am not at all an angry person and I've worked very hard not to be. And I want to give the old Bible study answer of Jesus. And I do believe that Jesus and bringing him into my life has changed, but fundamentally me putting the work in to change, you know what? I know exactly what it was now that I've thought it through. I, as a person in college, was still a very angry person. And I remember wanting to make a friend out of this girl that I just really liked her personality and I liked who she was. And at one time she had looked at me and she said, I don't enjoy being around you.
Oy.
Yeah. And I didn't understand it and I didn't know why. Because I am a people pleaser, but at that time I was a very cranky, angry person. And that's what she said. She's like, you're just so grouchy all the time. And it kind of was a splash of cold water on me of recognizing, because I am a people pleaser, that subconsciously I reacted with anger and negativity. And so from then on, it was my mission to change my initial reaction to things. And I think because of that, I have been blessed with so many things in my life with my husband and then of course my daughter. But had I stayed in that negative mind frame, I wouldn't have been open to the beautiful things that I have today and the amazing friendships and family that I have today. And I really think it was somebody telling me they don't like being around me, that it finally dawned on me that I was not the kind of person I wanted to be.
Did you become friends with her?
No, unfortunately I did not because she was 2 years ahead of me in college and she had already moved on.
Gotcha.
And so I didn't have the opportunity. We are Facebook friends.
Oh.
And so I do see her life moving on and things, but unfortunately I was not able to build the relationship I wanted to at that time. But I used it as a testimony of sorts and comparison to make sure that I was never in that place again.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
That's something I never knew about you.
I don't share that one a lot because I don't like thinking in my own head that I know that not everybody likes me. I get that. But being bluntly told to your face, that stung. And so I don't like dwelling in that. And so I don't think about it, honestly, until it took me that long to go back and find where I changed fundamentally how I think about things. That's how much I don't want to think about it.
But that means it's not a dwelling part of your story. Like, you're not holding on to it to the point where you have to tell everybody about this moment. You just live it out.
Right.
And that's a huge thing. A lot of people go, well, this one time, and they hold on to it and everybody in their life knows. And it's 20 years old.
That's true.
We're just going to rapid fire questions, I guess, until we get a conversation that flows. This one feels like kind of a cliche question, but given what our podcast is, tell us a little bit about your faith journey.
Well, that's a loaded one too, actually. I did not grow up in the church. I knew very little about church other than my grandmother on my father's side went to church. And there were, I want to say 2 or 3 summers when we would go spend time with her in Minnesota. And because we were there, she took us to church on Sunday morning, but that was very much Charlie Brown's teacher. I had no clue what was going on. I had no introduction to anything or understanding of anything. And I don't know if she just assumed that I did, so she never explained anything.
Out of curiosity, what denomination?
She's Lutheran. And so it was very rote. It was very ritualistic in type. It was, they did have kids like Bible study. No, I'm sorry. What is it for the week? VBS. They did have that. But nothing ever got through. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it or anything. So then I go off to college, and my freshman year in college, I had a roommate who was a Christian, and apparently it was her mission to save me. She told me this afterwards, and she was constantly talking about going to church and talking about her family. And of course, on campus, they had a Southern Baptist section, a church that had a ministry on campus. And every Wednesday night, they had spaghetti for us poor, starving college students. And I went enough that it finally, the light bulb went off of the little pieces from my childhood that my grandmother had done or what have you, because my dad never did anything in my mom's family. None of them did anything.
Did your parents claim like any sort of faith at all?
No, not at all. My mom was very anti, which is a very spicy part of my life that we probably will get to later, knowing Amber. But my mom was very much, I don't know if she was, I feel like she was anti-religion. I don't know that 100% for sure. But my dad just went with the flow and didn't really. So no, he never claimed anything.
Gotcha.
And I recently had a conversation with him that we could potentially get into later. But so no, I wasn't saved until college. I was saved my freshman year. And then I went a couple of times, but I was never discipled. So I didn't grow as a Christian at all. I student teach and get into a community band with another lady who sat right next to me, and she is a very strong Christian and very much one who enjoys discipling. And I had another person whose mission it was to save me, and her name was Darlene. She's a beautiful woman, and she started taking me to her church, and I could play my French horn at her church. Was a connection I never had before. And so I started feeling the Holy Spirit through my music because of Darlene inviting me to her church. And I kept going and I kept going. Then I meet my husband, Scott, and we move. We get engaged and all that, and we move out to Euless and in Texas. And he's like, well, we're going to go to church. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And he's like, no, we're going to go. And I said, not unless I can play my horn. And he's like, okay, that's great, because I already have a place where we can do that, because he is a musician as well. So through music and the people that pushed me to go, I have found the joy of our religion, of Christianity, and of playing for the Lord. And the times when I am closest to Jesus is when I'm playing my horn and playing his music. There are times when there are tears streaming down my face and I cannot see the music, yet I'm still able to play, all because of the love that I feel in that moment. And then Amber comes into my life, and she has so much more experience in the Christian world that I absolutely feel that she is my mentor in this realm. And I'm constantly texting her all the time. Oh my gosh, I heard about this, or what about that? And she's like, well, hold on, let me look it up, or this is what I think. And she is the first person I think of if I have any question at all about the Bible or about what I've heard or whatever. And so just these people that God has placed in my life at different stages in my life have helped me to continue on that journey, that had I not had them, I would have fallen back on the old habits of my childhood of, I've got other things to do.
Right.
And so because of all these people, I am now placed on the path of being with my husband, of being a director of a Sunday school class. And I never, if I look back to the girl pre-college or even in college, I never thought that this is something that I would ever be prepared for or asked to do. And then when I found out I was being asked to be a director, I reached out to Amber and I was like, I can't do this. What are they thinking? I'm not ready. This is not, they don't understand. They don't know where I've come from. They don't know my past. And she helped me off that ledge and realized that this is where God has placed me. And so I'm excited about this next adventure that I get to take.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
So has Amber told you about the podcast at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So this is leading into the follow-up question. One of the things her and I have talked about a lot is reaching the people that feel othered by the church. And one thing I don't see enough Christians talking about are their struggles too within the faith. So the follow-up question is, have you had any significant struggle or questions with your faith?
Oh, absolutely. So one of the big things that I didn't understand is why I was not able to have children.
Should have got tissues again. I just need to have these here for every.
And
I'll go get them.
They're on the desk, or you can grab the paper towels.
Okay, thank you. So for some reason, I was born with a situation where I'm not able to have children. And I was in actually the current church I'm in now. And we were at a choir/orchestra practice. And one lady asked me why Scott and I weren't having kids. And I told her I couldn't have children. And so she said, well, you must have done something really bad for God to not let you, your sin must have been so bad for you to be punished this way.
Horrible. That's a horrible thing to say to someone.
Absolutely. I was so dumbfounded that she walked off and went and did something else, had no clue how she affected me. And then Scott came up and thought like I was in a trance or something. And so the whole thing of why am I this way? And why is God letting me be this way? And why, just you start thinking about, well, what have I done? And then, I have had, within my family, I've had a cousin die very, very young, and my mother passing away and not being a believer. And so the frustration and the anger of why God lets these things happen And so, yeah, I've had a lot of struggles of not believing, of doubt, of, is this really true? Or especially early on when I found out, I couldn't have children, and the situations that have happened to me. And so why, the age-old story of why does God let bad things happen to good people?
Do you feel like you have an answer for that now at all?
Well, outside of the Sunday school answer of sin, and then I know that God does not punish. I know that. I know that He allows us to make our own choices, and I know that through sin, things have entered our world like cancer and deformities and birth defects and just so many different things. I understand that that it's not God's plan, but because of the fall.
Woo.
Well done, baby.
We're having a pause moment. Sarah's sweet, sweet daughter is getting ready to go to bed, so she needs to give hugs and kisses.
That's it, baby.
Good night.
Good night.
I love you, sweet girl.
Love you too.
Mwah.
Good night.
But yeah, that's just something I struggle with, of when I get into a low moment or a valley of, why are these things happening? But then I look at this sweet girl that just gave me a hug, and I have a kid that I didn't think I was going to have. And that's all because I believe that God knew that Laura was going to need a mom. And had I already had a kid, or had I been able to have a kid with Scott, would I have been open to being able to provide for her at that time? I don't know, right? So I know that obviously He had a plan. And I tell people all this all the time, that I could not have birthed a baby more like me than the one that God gave me. She is so much like me. It's scary.
That's pretty profound.
Yeah. People say we look a lot alike. We absolutely act a lot alike.
100% they act alike.
Poor Scott.
100% poor Scott.
So it's, again, like Amber had told me earlier today, a statement she had heard was, joy is going to come tomorrow. Well, we don't know. Or come in the morning. Joy is going to come in the morning. You don't know which morning. But obviously it took 8 years of marriage for the Lord to finally put that in my life.
Do you feel settled in that struggle and that answer? Do you feel like you're still searching for an answer?
No, I don't think so. Not anymore. No, I don't think so. I know that there is a reason for everything, and He has a plan. I still struggle with your loved ones that are not saved and passing on.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
So I struggle with the concept of, why couldn't they get it? Why couldn't they see it? It's so obvious. And, and so it makes me sad of, could I have said something else, or invited her to some event, or introduced her to some person that could have done it? And ultimately, in the end, she is gone. And I truly believe that she did not accept Jesus before she passed. And so the sadness of not seeing her again is really hard. But that has spurred me to think about talking about to my dad.
Yeah.
And I actually had a conversation with him this past spring break when my daughter was up there visiting. And I finally got up the nerve to ask him, and I'm 46 years old. And I got up the nerve to ask him I said, I know grandma went to church, and I'm pretty sure you did as a kid with her. It's like, so do you believe in Jesus? And he just skirted around the answer, and he's like, look at all this beauty, and because they live out on a lake, and he's like, why do I need all that when I can just have this? So that was very much an answer.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sadness I feel for my mom, I don't want to feel for my dad too. So now it's just that whole, how do you get there? Can I do anything different than I try for my mom? And I didn't succeed. And I know it's not my responsibility to succeed. I know that it's God's. I'm just supposed to plant the seed, or someone is, and other people water it, and he works through it. But why didn't it work?
Free will is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for making you cry. I made our first guest cry. I feel bad.
I knew that was going to happen, so don't feel too bad.
Okay.
I made her cry earlier because I was a meanie.
I am one, like my husband said, I live with butterflies and rainbows and fluffy bunnies, and I wear my heart on my sleeve, and it's inevitable. I don't have the easiest of lives and past, so I knew coming into this conversation some of the questions that could be potentially asked, so I knew it was going to happen.
Oh, fair enough.
So let me ask you a fun one.
Okay.
To lighten the mood, and it might come back around. When you think about your childhood, what memory makes you instantly smile?
Well, I don't have a lot of those, but
I stink at asking questions.
I want to say visiting my grandmother's.
Put your mic in front of you a little bit more.
I want to say potentially visiting my grandmother's, because they, especially the one in Minnesota, she was so fun, and we didn't get to see her very often. So we got to get out of the heat of Texas in the summer, which was fantastic. And we got to go play with our cousins, and we got to just see a different side of things that we didn't get to see every day living in West Texas. And so I think pretty much, going and visiting my grandmother and seeing my cousins as a kid was pretty great.
Okay, do you want a really silly one? Because this is another one we talked about asking everybody.
Oh, do it.
What you ask it, because you know it specifically.
Now I don't know
the vegetable one.
Hold on, I got to think about it. My brain was going in a different direction.
Oh, well, what vegetable has the most godlike qualities, and why?
Yes, that's what it was. That's the reaction.
Godlike qualities.
My answer is a potato.
Okay, why is that?
They're hardy, and you could throw them in the back of a cupboard, and they still grow roots, and they have the eyes or whatever. I haven't thought about this too deeply. It might change, but right off the bat, my initial answer is a potato.
I was going to think corn, like the actual corn on the cob that's covered. The sweet corn. So it has so many uses. It's hardy. It's healthy. It could be sweet. It can be firm. It could be soft. But you have to peel back the layers to get to the actual vegetable that is healthy for you, because it's not on the surface. You can't just see it. You have to open it up before you can see it.
You two are over here being thoughtful, and I'm over here being funny.
Do you have an answer yet?
A cucumber, because it's Larry Boy.
I haven't watched enough of that show to...
I haven't either. All I know is, where is my hairbrush?
I mean, valid. So if there was one question, because didn't prep you for this, my bad, that you could ask us, what do you want to know? Because like conversation you want to have, like question you want to know about us.
I know everything about you.
You don't know everything about Jessica.
That's true.
And you could ask her and then I could answer the same question.
Okay. So it can be anything at all?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let me think. So if you could live anywhere on the planet, where would you live and why?
Everywhere. I would go everywhere. I hate flying, so this is a bit tricky, but I'm not really that content being in one place for that long. I get Amber knows this now. I get really uncomfortable and grumpy and just like uneasy because I told you earlier, I've been in this apartment for 7 years. Here, within the next couple of years, it will be the longest I've ever been in any place, even like longer than my parents have lived. I've lived with them at the house that they're currently in. And it's starting to make my skin crawl.
Starting to itch, huh?
Yes, it definitely is. I would like to go everywhere. See all the things.
So possibly being in a camper?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's very hard to get the camper to like Ireland.
I mean,
You can rent one there.
In an ideal situation, I use this stupid thing to make connections with people all over the world and just kind of couch surf.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. I mean, that's very risky.
Oh, there's a wormhole there.
There is a wormhole there.
I mean, you've lived with friends before.
Yes. Yeah.
But vacationing for like 4 or 5 days with somebody is way different than...
Yeah. Well, and on the other side of this wormhole isn't an inescapable hellfire. I might get raped and murdered, but like...
Yeah, that's not a hellfire at all.
Not comparatively.
It's
Worse
like
things could happen.
the extreme.
Yeah. I'll be fine or I'll be dead. That's my new mantra in life.
I'll be fine or I'll be
I
dead.
went to Seattle in September for work, and it was the first time I had flown by myself ever, and it was the first time I had flown in about 15 years, and I was terrified. Like, I had so much anxiety, and eventually God just brought me to the point. It's like, you'll be fine or you'll be dead, and then you'll still be fine, so like, stop it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
So that's my mantra now. I'll be fine or I'll be dead.
and then I'll be fine again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Either way, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Me?
Your turn.
Sarah wants me to say Texas where she lives. My family wants me to say here. I would love to live in a camper and travel. I very much like Jessica get angsty after about 2 years. And so like I have some goals because then I could go to Texas and I could go to the lake or the ocean and I could be here and wherever and whatever. Yeah, I don't enjoy flying, but I would do it if I really wanted to go somewhere. But if I could live anywhere, I think it would be to be a nomad because I don't have to be stuck to one place. I can be free.
How about you?
I would live probably on some sort of boat or ship. That way it's continually moving, but I love the ocean. I love the water. I love the sounds of the waves, and we are addicted cruisers, and we try to go on at least one a year. And I would absolutely live somewhere where I could travel, either living on water somewhere where I could quickly get to a ship to travel. That's what I would do.
So nomad too. Very interesting. I think most people, if given the opportunity, would go everywhere.
I would go everywhere to travel, but I would still have a place called home. I would have...
Yes, I would. Yes, I agree with that.
But my home would be on a body of water somewhere.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I guess then to refine my answer, if home would be in the mountains.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that too.
Yeah.
No, thank
Very
you.
green, very green
Oh,
mountains.
next time you come, we're going to the Bighorns.
That's fine, but winter is no good.
Wow.
We didn't say you were living. You
Yeah,
lost
that's
your
said
home base
living.
in winter.
Home.
She
But
didn't
there
say
could
you
be-
were your home base in winter.
That's true.
Well,
You can
right.
travel in the winter and be home during
And
the
do
summer
all
when it's
mountains
pretty.
get winter? There's got to be some mountains that don't get.
They're
the
high enough
full-on
up. They
winter.
probably get.
Well, I didn't say I was living at the top of the mountain. I just want to be in green. Green is
Green
is my ocean. That's what
There
I
you
get from
go.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I asked ChatGPT. I am very interested in how music relates to your faith.
Mhm.
So I asked ChatGPT to give me a bunch of questions. So I'm going to give you the categories You can pick one, and then you can pick 1 through 3. So, origin story and first encounters, identity and calling, presence, worship, and the intangible, doubt, dissonance, and discipline, influence and formation, disruption, and prophetic edge.
Oh, that's a lot. Well, we already kind of did the first encounter. So I would go with, I think you said it third. What'd you say third?
Presence, worship, and the intangible.
That one.
Okay. Pick 1 through 4.
Pick a number.
Oh,
one
pick
through
a
four.
number.
Yeah.
4.
What's the line between emotional resonance and true spiritual encounter?
Oh, goodness. I believe that an emotional resonance is when you have this warm feeling of what I'm just going to go with music, I guess, is you have this warm feeling of the event you're in, or the conversation, or the moment, or the music, and you feel full, you feel peace, you feel potentially happiness, and the other pieces just kind of fade away a little bit. The worry fades away, the anxiety fades away. I think that is what that is. But then when you go to true spiritual connection, I think, is when everything actually really does fade away. There is nothing else. All you feel is the connection to the Lord. And there is no worry. There is no fear. It's not just fading away. It's a little bit in the background. It's gone. And potentially you are not even thinking in the moment of where you are, where you're standing, where you're sitting. There are moments when I'm playing my French horn and I don't feel the chair underneath me. I don't see the audience. They're gone. And I am filled with this extreme peace and happiness and being who I am. It tends to lead to tears just because of the connection I'm feeling. Or if we are playing a song where the words are hitting a spot inside of me that I needed hit, that I either knew or didn't know, and everything just fades away. And I have clarity and peace inside of me, and there's nothing else there.
What are your thoughts on modern Christian music and worship music?
Well, that's an interesting question that we actually have been discussing those past couple of days.
Amber and I have been talking about it a lot.
Right. Well, the difference in my opinion as well, is that worship music is about the Lord and modern Christian music is generally about me.
Right.
And so as much as I struggle with worship music sometimes because I get a little bored, and oh my gosh, I get so bored, and the repetitive nature of the worship music bothers me a lot. But within that, as long as I'm playing my horn and I don't have to sing it, I'm fine.
Fair.
And I'm very, very connected, and it's great. But if I have to stand in the congregation and sing the same words 30 times, I'm like, okay, I get it.
Right.
I get it. It's fine. On the other hand, the modern Christian music, it can be more fun, but it doesn't necessarily get as deep.
Right.
So I think my favorite worship services are when there's a combination of both. When you have the traditional hymns and the traditional music, but then you also have the modern music splashed in there as well. And so you're hitting both. I truly see it as both sides of the brain, as
Makes
well
sense.
as the different needs of the congregation. So I think if you just go one way or the other, you're going to lose
Right.
people.
So I'm curious on your thoughts on something specific. You're going to have to jump in at some point, dear.
You guys keep talking. Like every time I go to talk, you jump in. So keep going.
We'll tell one of us to shut up if necessary. So I've church hopped a lot through the years, and most of my experience with churches are in non-denominational churches, most specifically like charismatic kind of prosperity gospel churches. And something I have experienced in many of those is I've heard it referred to as the Kundalini spirit. Have you ever heard that term?
No.
So the music will be playing. Oftentimes it is with a live band, and, the lights are dim and the mood is set, and the whole congregation just starts like swaying together, like trance-like. It puts you in a trance. So when you were talking about the emotional resonance, that's kind of what those moments feel like. It's where it's hitting people emotionally. And the way it felt to me was like, it felt good, but it felt sticky. Like under the good, there was a layer of like, this is weird. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that you weren't connecting with it. I think you think it's weird because everybody talks, a lot of people who are not in the religion talk about religion being a cult. So if you start seeing that and you're looking at it with a, I don't know what the right word is. If you're looking at it with a mindset of potentially there's looking at it in a negative way, or I don't know.
So I should clarify a little bit more that the songs that are being played are not, they're worship songs, but they're like me-centered worship songs.
So they're Christian songs, not worship songs.
No. Yes.
Okay.
They're the modern Christian songs that are me-centered. They're not glorifying God. They're glorifying me. And it feels very cult-like.
Yeah. Well, I think that is potentially because our world is very me-centered, and it's all about what can you do for me and help me, and not about loving thy neighbor, and not about looking outwardly. It's always about inwardly. So a lot of the times people are focused on this bad thing that's happening in my life, and this is bad, and this sucks, and this is awful, and things like that about me. And so when you have a song going on about very prosperity gospel like of, well, it's okay, and just dream it and it'll happen, or just pray about it and it'll happen. And so it's like putting a 2-inch Band-Aid on a massive wound, and you're still gushing blood everywhere else, but this little bitty piece feels fine. So I think people are potentially trying to escape without, it's very surface level, without getting down deep and figuring out what's going on or what have you. And they're like, oh, it'll be okay. I'm just going to pray about it and God will give it to me. And so it can be very surface level.
Music is something I'm very interested in. Like before I became a full-blown Christian, it could easily be said that music was my false idol. That's what I went to for comfort and all that stuff. A week before my 30th birthday, and this was shortly after I rededicated my faith, God led me to do a music fast. So I didn't listen to anything for a whole week before my birthday. And then when I started listening to it again, as I like secular music.
Nothing's wrong with that.
There are things wrong with that, but we can get into that in a second.
But that's like we're not talking like, oh, if you listen to secular music, you're going to hell.
No.
That's what I was saying.
No. So to round that out, I started noticing how the music I was listening to affected the way that I was feeling. And I have, since that experience, I've been thinking a lot about how powerful music is.
Yes.
And that's why secular music can potentially be dangerous, is because subliminally, I think it's pretty easy to argue that subliminally music can affect you on very deep levels.
It absolutely can. Because if you think about it, like a lot of Christians, or even, Amber had Christian music blaring this morning, and if you're kind of down and you play music and it's got that upbeat and then you start feeling it and you start feeling better, it can go the other way as well.
Right.
It can absolutely turn around if you're in a funk and you start playing some dark music, or you start playing rap or that has negative words in it or inappropriate language, or if you, whatever the case may be, it can absolutely affect your mood.
I think it's up there with sex and drugs, with like how deeply and profoundly it can impact people, music.
It can. I think it really depends on the person. It
That's
absolutely
fair.
can,
That's fair.
because I am a very weird musician.
In what way?
Well,
what does that mean?
Music is boring.
Oh.
I find music extremely boring if I'm not playing it.
Interesting.
Amber and Laura are playing music all the time. I'm like, here we go again. It's just noise. I can't think. And my husband wants to go to a concert, and I'm like, oh, I'm good for like 2 songs and then I'm done. I get so bored. So if it were just me listening to music and never being a musician and not playing, I don't think it would affect me like that because of who I am.
Right.
But being that when I play it and I'm physically involved, it's very impactful on me. So I there's got to be other people out there like me that they just, music, you can live or take it or leave it.
Yeah.
When I'm in the car, I never, ever turn the radio on. Ever.
Because you're talking to me.
Well, this is true. But even when you selfishly don't answer the phone, which is not very often, I don't turn the music on.
Interesting.
I'll just sit in silence, or I'll have a podcast or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a playlist. I don't even have music on my iPhone. Nothing. There's zero music on my phone. It's not a factor in my life
That's very interesting.
unless I'm playing it, which is why I'm a very weird musician.
Yeah. Yeah. You're the first musician I've ever met that's had that
Mhm.
answer. For sure.
And I don't even know why music works. I did not take a single theory class. I don't care why it works. I don't want to know why it works. I don't want to make music. And if you start talking to me and using music verbiage, I'm like, meh. But if you put sheet music in front of me that is specifically for French horn, because I am not going to transpose because I don't do that, I can absolutely be lost in music with physically playing it. So that could translate to people who play guitar or what have you. And if they're physically involved, then that can absolutely become an idol. And it can become something that they're focused on, and they go to practice all the time and they forget their family, or they don't go to work or what have you. So it can absolutely be a dangerous thing in that way. But yeah, I'm definitely a weirdo.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel compelled to tell a thing. I've never told anybody this before.
Yay.
Well, I don't know if it's a yay thing. Mom, if you're listening, stop now. So marijuana was my drug of choice, and I didn't, compared to a lot of people, I still didn't use it very heavily at all. But I remember a couple times where I would be not sober and singing, and I really want to be able to sing. Like, I've always really wanted to be able to sing, and I'm tone deaf. I don't think I sing very well. But I had a couple moments, not sober, where it felt like I got right to the edge, and it was like I could choose to go off the edge and give in to this weird thing that was trying to take me over and be able to sing. And I knew that I'd be able to sing. I've never gone over the edge because it is terrifying. But I have watched a lot of musicians that I believe have absolutely done that, and singers too. You can tell that they've been overtaken by something else. It's not them necessarily. They're just the meat suit in something else's.
Well, if you think about all the musicians in the world that have succumbed to drugs and alcohol and sex and pornography and just all the very dark things that follow musicians, absolutely, I can see that being the case. To be clear too, though, as a musician, I am not a singer. The Lord said, Sarah, bless your heart, you need to play an instrument. This is not your thing. Now, I can match to someone next to me, but if it were just me and a microphone, oh my gosh, people would leave. So
Same.
yeah,
Same.
that is not me, not my strength. But yeah, I can definitely see the dark that can cloud the music realm for sure.
Especially because art in general, there's a couple specific like niche categories of art where this seems to be more prevalent, but music is definitely one. If you're a talented person, people throw themselves at you.
Mm-hmm.
You become like, you can do no wrong, and people just...
Interestingly enough, last weekend we took our daughter Laura to a Christian concert, to an artist that she loves listening to.
You
all
can
the
say
time.
the name of the artist.
Okay, we went to the Brandon Lake and Phil Wickham concert.
Interesting.
It was a fantastic concert.
Amber and I had discussed Brandon Lake recently.
And yeah, the dreads and the shampoo. Yep.
Not even,
But
we didn't not about that.
Anyway, well, she keeps saying that, but it was interesting when they came out because she completely went fangirl on that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was curious and I asked her a little bit later. I was like, were you super, super excited because you wanted to hear the music or whatever? Or were you excited because these two guys came out on the stage? So, and she's 11 and she didn't know where I was going with that. But I could see it in the room of just exactly what you said, is this is a room full of Christians, you would think, and they're just screaming their head off and idolizing these two guys that came out on stage, which for sure they can sing fantastic. But again, to me, since I get a little bored, I actually had to leave in the middle of the concert and go wander because I got bored. But these two guys could have done nothing wrong. Now, granted, they read from the Bible and they had amazing messages throughout the thing, and there was fantastic moments there, but I could absolutely see where people were there for them and not for the Lord.
Yeah.
Even though it was a Christian concert.
I have really, really mixed feelings about touring live Christian bands. And it's something Amber and I have talked about before, and I'll probably talk about it forever because I don't know. It's one of those, we have to be really careful with it things. I have the same feelings on like the show The Chosen. It's so easy to make a false idol out of these people making this art.
Absolutely.
And put it above God's word.
I've had that conversation similarly to about Chosen with another Christian friend of mine, actually an employee of mine. He's a strong Christian man, and I had the opportunity to use The Chosen as a tool in order to talk to someone who is not of the Christian faith. And this was a client of mine, and I was in a session for about 3 hours with this client, and they know I'm a Christian. There's a painting on my wall of the 3 crosses. I had it commissioned. It's a beautiful painting, and I am not shy about who I am, and I just talk about going to church and playing in the orchestra and what have you. And this client started asking me about things, and I don't know what led me to ask it, but I asked if they'd ever watched The Chosen because they were asking about the story. And I was like, it's an easy way to at least understand the story of what happened if you're not going to pick up the Bible.
Right.
And that client then went and watched all 3 seasons of The Chosen and then came back, and then we had another conversation more deeply about Jesus and things like that. And I had the opportunity to say, well, we don't know that's exactly what happened because we don't have all the details. Otherwise, the Bible will be a lot bigger than it is. But you're absolutely right. It can absolutely turn into an idol, or you can idolize the gentleman that plays Jesus on the show, or what have you. And I can't even imagine what he goes through because people are like, oh, it's Jesus.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And, but if you can find a way to use it as a tool, as an outreach method for those who don't understand or don't know, it could be a great thing too.
Yeah. I think I've zeroed in on my bigger problem is the fan base that forms around stuff. And I've experienced this even with Brandon Lake, and it's like, even just being like, we need to stop and look at what's going on here, and people just go nuts and start calling you an accuser of the brethren, and like, you're being legalistic. It's like, but we can't even talk about this. As soon as I'm told I can't ask questions, like, I'm done. It's like, okay, never mind, bye. It's the fan base that develops around stuff
Oh,
that I think I have
absolutely.
a bigger problem with. You look like you're going to fall asleep.
No,
You
I'm,
need to participate now.
I mean, the conversation shifted like 4 times. I'm trying to catch back up.
Okay, well, now it's your turn. We're
Now
bringing
it's
you
my
back
turn?
into it.
Are we continuing this conversation or asking another question?
Do whatever you want.
Whatever I want. That's scary for you too.
Whatever's on your heart.
Yeah. No, it's not. This is what we're doing.
I don't know. I had thoughts and then they left me. Just to clarify, I agree with Jessica. The fan base around Christianity's artistries of things is terrifying. I'm not a fangirl type of person.
Yeah. They're rabid and they are definitely turning these things into false idols, which is a problem.
They have been for a long time. Like, I remember, okay, we're going to go here. I'm going to backtrack to the original question about like Christian modern music.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sarah mentioned, like secular music, and just, you actually both mentioned it, how the words of it can like affect you. So there's an artist from the 90s and early 2000s. His name was Ray Boltz. If you listen to his music, he says the most heretical things. Like, he has a song called One Drop of Blood, basically saying is all you need is 1 drop of Jesus' blood to be saved. Like, not about the death. And then he has a song about supposedly having to tie a rope and bells around the priest's robes so that if they died, they could pull them out. And that's not actually true. And so in my brain, as you guys were talking secular music, I was thinking how the words of Christian songs can flip.
People morph it into scripture.
Yeah, morph it into scripture and build their theology on it. Like, I don't know who sings it. There's a song out there, and the one line that sticks with me and just makes me crazy is, if it's not good, he's not done.
I hate that.
Like, if it's not good, he's not done.
I think that's probably in a lot of songs.
Well, yeah, but this one specifically makes it like this. Like, if it's not the good you want is the feeling you get from that song. So, like, how many of us have had things happen that were not good and they will never, ever be good no matter how far we go? So, like, I don't like those things. So I'm very obnoxious about that. But that's what I was thinking about. And then the conversation shifted again, and I'm trying to think of another thought.
No, I think it is a perfect point to add, though, to the conversation. And it bleeds into the people turning stuff into false idols, taking these songs. And if you are unfamiliar with the Bible, taking lines from these songs, turning it into scripture. That's the problem with with any sort of Christian art, is if you're not familiar with the Bible, it's like, oh, I saw this thing that was written by some random human, and that's how you get things like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth.
The what?
That's a rabbit
We
hole,
need to talk about this later.
I don't know enough about it. I think it's a fairly modern conspiracy hole, but it's all sorts of, that's how you get all of the weird stuff popping up, and like that Jesus and Mary had a baby, or that Jesus and John were lovers. I don't know if you've heard that one, but Jesus and John were lovers.
Hadn't heard that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is the weirdest thing you've heard come out of like Christian social media / churches / people?
I don't know, because I don't pay attention to Christian social media and stuff.
Good for you.
I really don't. I don't look at that stuff and I don't pay attention to it. And so I couldn't even begin to answer that question.
Probably healthier for you than it is for me.
The weirdest thing I can think of is potentially, I don't know, a pastor saying that, don't worry if you sin. We've all sinned. It's fine. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off. Don't apologize. It's okay. That may be one of the weirdest things I've ever heard, but that wasn't in social media.
I didn't say just social media. I did use the word "and" in church.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Sorry. I focused on the social media side of things.
I specifically know you're not a social media person, so I added the extra.
Gotcha.
I mean, yeah, like, that's a rabbit hole we should probably not go down.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. Sarah's over here stirring the pot.
Kind of did.
Speaking of pot stirrers, do you have anything you want to pot stir about? Like, ask questions, dig in, learn?
About what?
Either of us, any topic?
Oh.
I know, I'm being mean.
Bible, church, anything.
Anything. It doesn't even have to be Christian related.
We who are not is anything and everything. We're the others.
The others. So you, Jessica, had mentioned that you are struggling with church and which fair, we all do. So your town is very small in consideration, and the churches are what they are. So what can you do to overcome that within the what you have access to?
Yeah, well, figuring it out as I go.
Mhm.
The Bible study that I do with Amber on Thursdays has been a huge help, and I'm going to start doing the one on Wednesday as well. Not this
How
week,
long
by
have
the
you
way.
been going to the Wednesday one?
Oh,
Maybe 3 or 4 times over the last
Okay.
month and a half.
Okay.
I haven't gone that many times. I think the first time was this spring, maybe, and I've just gone a few times since then. But one of my nieces was doing gymnastics, and I was taking her on Wednesday to
Gotcha.
her gymnastics class, which is why I wasn't going. But she's not doing that anymore, and I'm really interested in the one that they've got coming up. So
Right. The reason I asked that question is I know a lot of people struggle with finding the right church. And so they just kind of give up and use it as an excuse to just not go because, well, I just haven't found the right one.
yeah,
So I love that you have found other ways to continue diving into the word and learning and having fellowship with people and not giving into the excuse, and you're still trying and you're looking. So I really like that.
if I'm being honest, the deeper I get into the Bible, the harder it is for me to go to church.
Yeah.
I understand that one.
Amber and I have talked a lot about church hopping. There was the year after I rededicated my faith, my mom, she lives about 45 minutes away from here, from Douglas. She came up every Sunday and we church hopped. We went to a bunch of different churches. And I really enjoyed doing that. I know it's hard to build community that way, but I like to gather data and I like to observe and see what's going on there's an Orthodox church here in Casper. We have a Greek Orthodox church, and it was a fascinating experience. So I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate that with what I've got going on right at the moment.
Well, I don't think you have to go to church to build community, because you're doing that and will do that within Wednesday night and within Thursday night.
That's true.
And potentially one day when you have your own, like Amber said.
Yeah.
And so I don't see anything wrong with church hopping. And if you find that this church over here is going to do this series on this thing, and you're like, I want to learn about this thing, then you go over there and you do that.
Yeah.
And you still have a community that you're coming back to.
Thank you for being encouraging about the church hopping. Not
I
many
think
people are okay with that. Everybody's like, you need to find a church and just go. Not everybody. Most people. Just one church and just go. But I think there are a bunch of denominations for a reason. Like certain people are drawn to certain things for a reason. I'm drawn to them all for a reason. So
I find them all intriguing. I absolutely love learning about the differences between the Christian faith and what makes a Presbyterian, what makes a Baptist or Pentecostal or what have you. And even within the diving into the much further out there, like I am completely intrigued to learn about Mormonism and about Catholicism and all those things. But I think that all those things just give you more tools in your toolbox within what you're trying to do to learn and to help and disciple others. Because you may come across somebody, if you only go to a Baptist church and God has put a Presbyterian in your path and you have no insight into what their thoughts are and their beliefs are, and you have a very easy ability to stick your foot in your mouth and potentially offend somebody because everybody's offended about everything. So I think that's fantastic. I love that.
So there's my answer.
I love it.
Yeah.
There's your answer. So along those lines, Sarah came to church with me on Sunday, and she knows everything, and she knows all my feelings and thoughts about things. And so I asked her what she thought about service, and she lovingly told me that I was seeing everything through an offended lens. My word choice, maybe not hers, but not wrong. And so, like, for me in church, because I moved back to Wyoming and I no longer weekly attend the same church as Sarah and sit under Pastor
Boo.
John's teaching. I can't with you.
Boo.
And it actually like did some really good things for her to be really blunt and honest with me, because maybe I'm not supposed to go to church for the sermon, but I'm so offended by what I think it should be, and it's not, that I'm not able to see what God has me there for. And so I really appreciated that. I know I said that once, but I really appreciated that you were willing to say, you're kind of looking at this wrong.
Well, and
And
I was really nervous to tell you that, because I'd been thinking about it through the sermon, because I knew where her heart was, and I was listening, and I was trying to listen to it with my rainbow glasses and what I had heard from Amber's heart. And I could hear some things, and then I could see what she was saying. But I know I'm so proud of you for coming such a long way that I was nervous to tell you what I thought, only because I didn't want to hurt you. But you took it with such grace and openness and willing to hear what I had to say, that it made for a really great conversation that we had, because I do 100% believe that the Lord has placed you in that place for now, for a reason. And if you are looking through it with a lens of hurt, then you're not going to see the path He has for you and the blessings you can make on other people.
yeah, and I appreciated your honesty. Like, and like I told you, I don't know if it was later that day or in the car, but I'd been ignoring God when He's telling me you're jaded. You're offended all the time. And so having you say that really like was the kick in the butt I needed. Church is hard, man.
It's full of a bunch of people,
And nobody's
That
perfect.
it is.
right?
That it is.
Right?
Ugh. Why are we all people?
That's a great question.
You're so people-y.
You're so people. So earlier today, Jessica was sending me things via chat from ChatGPT via text. And I asked her to do something.
I
I wondered if you caught on. I was over there doing something.
wondered what I'm putting two and two together.
Like I asked how you spelled your middle name and Laura's middle name.
Mm-hmm.
So she was asking, I'm going to let her explain what she was doing because she was the one doing it.
Okay. So I'll give context too. I was catching up on the Bible study today and was listening to Isaiah, and I heard the name Ariel in Isaiah. And that is one of my middle names, is Ariel.
One of your middle names?
Yeah, so Jessica, Callista, Ariel are my three names.
And a last name.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know why I'm being weird. I'm not saying it on the podcast.
You don't need people to really Google search you.
I mean, it's pretty easy to find from Jessica, Callista, Ariel, but those are my first name and my two middle names. And my mom has told me before what my names mean, so I've done a pretty deep dive into it. But I didn't know Ariel was in the Bible as Ariel. So I went down through Strong's Concordance, and then I went to ChatGPT and asked for a breakdown of Hebrew origins for my names, because Jessica actually has Iskar, I believe, is the Hebrew name. Like there's roots in ancient Hebrew for Jessica too. And the way that it gave it to me was really interesting. So I went down a rabbit hole and I did everybody's. I did Amber's and my sister and her kids and like my close friends. And then I was like, I need more people. Give me more names. So then she gave me your names and I sent her yours.
You should do this for all your guests.
I might have
It
to.
should be a thing.
Yeah, I might have
Be
to.
a thing.
If they'll give me their middle names, I will.
It's required to be on the podcast.
You didn't know that because I already
No.
had your middle name. So we did spell it correctly. No H on your name.
It's an unnecessary letter.
I agree.
I totally read it as blessings when she sent it the first time, so I had to redo it.
Sarah Blessings Wolf.
There's no E.
I know, but
Okay.
that's what she
I
said.
misread it. When
Oh,
she sent
okay.
it.
Okay, got
Did I
it.
type that wrong? Did I tell you wrong? What did I do?
Well, I am a blessing.
Actually, kind of. I'm going to read this to you.
Okay.
The origin is Hebrew. It does have the Sarah with the H on the end because of the Bible, meaning princess, noblewoman, lady of high rank.
I have always known that Sarah was Hebrew for princess. That is who I am.
This is extra ammo when you need it for Scott. Spiritual resonance. In scripture, Sarah was the mother of nations, the one through whom God fulfilled an impossible promise. This name carries dignity, divine appointment, and the bittersweet journey of waiting and becoming. A Sarah is a woman who laughs in the face of despair, not because she is flippant, but because she knows God, because she knows who God is. Spiritual identity. She who receives the promise even in her old age. No, that was not a dig. That is what it said.
I did receive a child in my old age.
You were not old when you adopted her. Try again.
I was 35. Most people don't start out with a baby at 35. No, I was 38.
I'm sorry. So you're saying 38 is old?
For having a baby?
But she wasn't a baby.
She was 3. It's close enough.
It is.
That's pretty freaking...
I'm trying to be.
Anyway.
I'm trying to be a brat because I just turned 38.
I know.
And you're calling me old.
Well, because
No, it was
you
old
kind of
for
are
having
now.
a baby. You
Okay.
are.
You're middle-aged
Do you
now.
realize you're
Yes.
closer to 40 than you are 30?
And I'm fine with that. Okay, blazing. Original, a rare surname, like derived from blessing or Ballas? I'm gonna Jessica say that.
I gotta
Double
pull it
check
up.
that.
Hold on.
Possible meaning blessing, modern English derivative. The one I can't say. Lisping, stammering, often spiritually interpreted as God using the weak or humble to speak power. Spiritual resonance. Blazing carries a deeply prophetic undertone, whether read as blessings, or rooted in the older idea of stammering lips. It points to, clearly I'm having stammering lip problems. It points to God's tendency to use the unexpected, the overlooked, and the broken and make them conduits of power. It echoes Isaiah 28:11, with stammering lips and another tongue he will speak to his people. 1 Corinthians 1:27, God chooses the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. Genesis 12:2, I will bless you and you will be a blessing. Spiritual identity, the chosen voice of unlikely blessing.
I think it's Blasius, which is Greek or
Blasius.
Latin for lisping or stammering, often spiritually interpreted as God using the weak or humble to speak power.
Symbolic identity. That's what got me. Sarah Blazing, the promised noble mouthpiece of mercy.
Oh, wow.
A woman marked by waiting, but called to carry breakthrough. One who blesses in silence and intercedes without recognition. She is the kind of woman who prays things into being and who may have been misunderstood early, but will be honored later. She is a living altar, not built of stone, but of stories, surrender, and steady praise. That's you.
Wow, that's crazy.
Do you want to know Laura?
Of course.
You're like, yes.
Before we move
Yeah.
on there, it's funny because I had growing up, when women got married, I always knew that the women dropped their middle name and kept their maiden name, and then in the middle, and then have their new name, right? So my husband, he grew up where women dropped their maiden name and kept their middle name.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a huge discussion over what I was going to do. And there was no way in the world I was keeping my original middle name, and I'm not sharing that. But
I'm going to make you off of this so I can look it up, though.
Okay, that's fine. But I've always believed that you are known as your last name, your maiden name. You are known. I was known as Sarah Blazing, right? So losing that identity, losing that last name didn't fit right for me. And so that's why that was another reason too, why, other than not liking the other name, but Blazing was who I was. And so that's why I kept it. And so I absolutely love what my name is now with my married name.
I wondered when Amber sent it to me. I was like, that's a very unusual middle name.
Yeah, it's my
sense. It was your maiden name.
Her original middle name is very unusual too.
It is.
We'll do that later. I'll read Laura's.
Okay.
So, Latin from laurus, meaning laurel tree, victory, honor. The spiritual resonance. In ancient tradition, the laurel tree symbolized victory, peace, and immortal honor. The crown of laurels was given to those who overcame, not just the fast or flashy, but the faithful and enduring. Laura carries a quiet nobility, not boastful, but earned. It echoes James 1:12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial. He will receive the crown of life. And Psalm 1. She is like a tree planted by streams of water. Spiritual identity. The one crowned by perseverance. Jean is Hebrew via French or English from Yohanan, meaning God is gracious, grace of God. Spiritual resonance. Jean roots the name in divine compassion. It's a name worn by grandmothers, matriarchs, and memory keepers. Those who walked closely with God and quietly kept families stitched together. Jean is warm and durable, like a favorite quilt, soft from use, precious from history. It echoes Mary, the mother of Jesus, humble, obedient, favored, and Ruth, steadfast, grace-filled, sacrificially kind. Spiritual identity. The gracious one who holds what matters. Symbolic identity. Laura Jean, the crowned tree of grace, a woman with deep roots and gentle hands, who outlasts the storms and waters others with her stillness. She doesn't try to impress, she simply becomes indispensable. Her presence is a benediction, her life a blessing passed down. She is one of those rare ones who doesn't need to be seen to make an impact because her fruit speaks for her.
Aw, I love that.
I was deep in this rabbit hole today.
I see that.
And it got me thinking about the process of naming a human. I've never had to name a human, but it is significant. I mean, even so, I sent my sister all of hers, and she's pregnant currently. So I sent her what she was thinking for the baby. And she's like, I don't know. I feel like she kind of has to experience life to take on the characteristics of what I sent to her. And I told her, God is always naming babies in the Old Testament before they pop out. He's always telling women when they're pregnant what to name their babies. And I hadn't thought about how significant naming a human was until today.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it follows you for your whole life.
Does. Mm-hmm.
We were teasing and joking about somebody I knew who first name and last name was the exact same name except for like one letter. I'm like, why would you, as a parent, why would you do that to your child? But I also think that if you are in tune to the Lord and you are thinking through things, that I think He also places on you the idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think He's like, and you're like, oh, I like that. And you're like, well, why do you like that?
Right.
You know, you probably had a little bit of help in there.
They're prophetic. They're prophetic.
Mm-hmm.
And just for shits and giggles, I did one of my exes and what was that?
My doorbell.
I'm going to say we have a present coming.
Yeah, are we pausing?
An Amazon present?
Can you pause it? Pause it.
Okay, that was a fun interruption. So naming, I think it's interesting because my brother and sister-in-law just had a baby.
Sorry, I remembered what I was talking about. The ex.
Yes.
I did my ex.
You did.
One of my exes. And just because I thought it was interesting, I asked ChatGPT to give me like the fallen version. Like if he didn't stay on God's path, what it would be. Nailed it to a T. I am fascinated by how close all of these are getting to the people. And not only like what God's plan is for them, but if they go astray, it nailed it too.
Oh, wow.
Humans are so predictable.
That's
ChatGPT. Okay, sorry.
You're good. I was just talking till it came back to
Yeah.
you. I was just going to agree with you that it's interesting in how they named their little one. Like the things they talk about was basically like they prayed about it and God was like,
Yeah, she told me that today.
There you go.
I text her about your brother
so cute. Oh, I need to know that after the podcast.
Okay, yeah. Well, because I also did this thing. ChatGPT did this thing for me where it built like a family thing. I had to get your brother's middle name so I could give her the whole experience.
Oh, gracious. That's funny. I mean, now we might as well do Scott too.
Yeah.
Then we'll send you all of them so you can just have them.
Oh,
And
that's
you can be like,
perfect.
Scott, it's you.
It's you. It's so
I'll be
cute.
like, oh my gosh. I had a thought and then it left me. I got distracted by my doorbell.
What did they want?
Toilet paper.
Oh,
I can share toilet paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy.
that is very kind.
It's not
And
that
very
hard.
nice that she can come ask for it.
I like her. Okay, so I'll go back to the questions because my brain blanked.
Well, I'm going to put it back on. Do you have anything currently that you're not struggling with, but like wrestling with in your own life, trying to figure out,
Oh,
or like something that you're pondering, or like a rabbit hole, like this name thing that you're in?
I definitely do. So I own 2 businesses. And with these 2 businesses, I don't know if I'm supposed to still do one of them. I'm trying to figure out God's plan. And because I absolutely want to follow it. If he's like, gives me a neon sign and says, do this, I'm like, yes, sir. And I have no problems with that. But I'm struggling with, do I stay in my second business or do I not? And the reason being is my other business. So I have a bookkeeping business that I do with Amber, and I feel the Lord leading me in that direction. We are looking to serve churches, small churches that have a volunteer or a secretary doing their books, and they don't really know what they're doing, and we can really get in there and help them and create the budgets and do those things and help with transparency. And that's really been laid on my heart to go down that path. And it's very much in line with what Amber loves doing and wants to serve as well. Then I have this other business that comes in and creates so much noise. And I serve a community that is not, it is not focused on Jesus at all. It is very anti-Christianity. And I originally thought that the Lord put me in this community to serve them and be the light and potentially be the only Bible they read that day and to show the love of Jesus. But I'm feeling my light dim the more I do it. It's been 15 years.
Well, after we talked about this the other night, what came to my mind was the scripture about pearls before swine.
Please.
So
remind me.
I can look it up if you want it exactly, but it's been a theme in my life too, where you want to give and you want to give and you want to give good things to all the people. You don't want to be the person that lets someone searching down. You don't want to be another one to abandon them. But at a certain point, you have to wonder if you're throwing pearls before swine. And what do pigs do?
Got it.
They eat everything, and then shit it out the other side with no thought about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And is that actually doing anybody any good if you're throwing pearls to pigs?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Not to call people swine. I understand why they would be like, oh my gosh, but it's a metaphor.
It definitely, for sure. And I think I'm getting to the point where it could potentially be a situation in that way where this is taking up so much of my time and energy that it's taken me away from potentially serving more people within our bookkeeping business. And I tried to get out, and I talked to my partner, and she did not want to do it without me. And unfortunately, the business is not in a situation where it can just go, okay, sure, you can leave. So it would be financially devastating for the business and or my family if I just up and left and quit or what have you. So but alongside of that, our bookkeeping business has the new client acquisition has slowed down dramatically, where I'm like, Lord, are you trying to show me something? Like, are you pausing me over here until I figure this out over here so that I can then come back? Or what am I supposed to be learning from this? And I thought I was doing the right thing, and I thought I was in the place I was supposed to be. And I think for a time I was. I truly believe that. But now what? But if he doesn't, the prayer is potentially to find somebody to come in and be her partner and buy me out so she isn't alone. Because I don't want it to go under, and I don't want to hurt the employees.
Right.
But maybe this isn't my season anymore. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm absolutely struggling.
Because you're kind of transitioning Amber into a more predominant role, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's scary for everyone involved.
Is it though?
It is.
Or is it what she needs?
It doesn't mean it's not what she needs, and
No.
it can be both.
That's true.
I have utmost faith in Amber. I have no doubt that she can accomplish the things that I'm putting in front of her. And with her taking on some of the things that we've discussed, it frees me up to be able to go do more and in different ways, where otherwise I am kind of trapped in this other role. And I've had the pleasure of watching her step into a managerial role where we have not had that opportunity in the past. And the successes she's had and the struggles, but she's come so far in that I'm like, all right, let's take the next step. Let's do the next thing. And if the Lord, I can't even.
Amber's cringing.
I know, right?
So badly.
I am so grateful that the Lord put her in my life, because to be completely clear, I cannot, let me rephrase that. I can do this without her, but I don't want to, because she is so good at what she does, and she is so good at keeping me sane. I can do it without her, but then I'll probably go insane. And I don't want to, and I want to go on this next adventure with her and do these next things. And I can feel that's where my heart is, but the struggle is how to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked up the verse. It's Matthew 7, verse 6. It's part of the Sermon on the Mount, so it starts with the Beatitudes. That sermon goes like 7 chapters or something crazy. It says, "Do not give what is holy to dogs, or toss your pearls before pigs, or they will trample them under their feet and tear you to pieces."
That is very strong, because it is very much how I'm starting to feel, because many of the people in which I serve in that business are very much against what I believe.
Yeah.
And so am I sacrificing my beliefs for the dollar?
It kind of comes back around to what we were talking about earlier. Boundaries they are loving, and oftentimes they're very hard to. It's hard to draw at least for me, it's been very hard to draw lines where I need to draw them, especially when it comes to people I love who can't hear me when I talk about my faith. And it's like, well, at some point it feels like I'm watering down what I believe to appease other people and to still be accepted by them. And in the long run, that hurts them more than if it's like, okay, we're directly at odds with one another now, and you need to know that what I believe is it can't coexist with what you're doing in life.
Yep. Nailed it.
That's a hard place to be.
It is very hard. It can be really isolating. That's been my experience anyways. I've lost a lot of friends through my faith journey because of that exact reason. I can't co-sign on this anymore.
Right. I have a feeling once I finally can figure out what the Lord's trying to tell me to do and find this path, even though it's full of weeds, figuring it out, I have no doubt I will lose quite a few friends, and I will lose there's going to be a lot of loss. And I've built this company from the ground up for over 15 years. And I've worked so hard that I don't want to see it fail, but that's not up to me ultimately. So.
Well, I'll keep praying for you about it, for
Thank you.
a way out that leaves as little collateral damage as possible.
That would be the best case scenario for sure. Mm-hmm.
How long have we been talking now?
An hour and 30 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad. I felt like it was longer.
No, we got 30 minutes to go to beat our record.
Oh, sweet.
And knowing you two, you both dog, so it's great.
Yes, I could. Hours. We could stay here for hours.
For sure.
Okay, so I have a question. Everybody's going to answer this. And it doesn't matter who goes first. What do you hope people will remember about you?
Like when we're gone?
Yes.
Just clarifying.
Yes. I'll go first because I can kind of cheat because I've already wrote it down somewhere. I send out a weekly email to my ladies, and in the month of July, because I am a self-absorbed human being in the month of July because it's my birthday month. By the way, happy birthday month, Jessica.
Oh, I am not a birthday month person.
I'm not
I
either.
am. You guys have to put up with me. It's
I may
fine.
take a weekend, but that's
okay.
much.
I'm going to make sure you guys are birthday month people. It's fine. One of the emails I sent, I think it might have been the second one, I literally talked about my Bible. And I remember going to a funeral 8-9 years ago, and the lady whose funeral it was, the pastor held up her Bible and he goes, I had no doubt that the thing she highlighted and underlined and the date she put on it and the notes she wrote in the margin, you saw lived out in her life. And so I wrote in this email, I was like, not to be morbid, but like when I'm gone, I want people to pick up my Bible and see what I've highlighted, see what I've written in, see the notes I've added, see the extra pages, see all of it and go, wait, I saw that in her. I didn't even have to see, I didn't need the Bible and to see where she was wrestling and struggling because I saw in her that play out and I saw Jesus through it all. And that's what I want people to remember is that about me. And I often feel at that right now. And it is a struggle and a wrestling to like be that person that I want people to remember.
Same. The things that came to mind are fundamentally perpendicular to my default flesh status. Because I'm a very selfish, vain. I'm a horribly vain person. But I would really love to be remembered as a humble, sacrificial human. And it's very difficult to override your flesh. I'm not very good at it. It's a work in progress.
I've always wanted people, this takes it all the way back to the beginning of the podcast, is I want people to remember that I was a kind but silly person, like goofy, happy, funny, but didn't take everything too seriously. I want to be remembered of someone you could get up to, someone you could have fun with, but you could also trust in the important things and the serious things, and that I would be there.
Well, for me, you're doing that. For your daughter, you're doing that.
I mean, you've left a pretty good impression on me too, so.
I'm pretty sure I could find like 17 other people to say the same.
Well, I know that with you ladies, that what you've said, I haven't had an opportunity to get to know you, Jessica, as well, but it's so funny that you say you're a very vain person, because I have not one time in the few hours that we've known each other ever had that thought.
Well, good.
That would really never crossed my mind. So there you go. That not one time did I was like, dang, she's vain. Nope, not one.
Good.
And
I've not either, and I've known you for over a year.
I'm trying really hard, Amber.
well, you're doing really well. You are. And Amber, you are, when I look at your Bible and your study life and your morning quiet time with the Lord, I take it very kind of like, I look at it selfishly like, God, I suck.
Yeah, same.
Right?
There's a reason everybody
Oh my God.
texts Amber about Bible stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you love the Bible and you're constantly studying it and constantly learning it definitely shames me. I know that's not your intention.
There's no shame.
It's all me. I am shamed.
Take that shame off you.
But
It's definitely a conviction.
it is.
100%,
That's a better word. It convicts me. I like that better.
Yeah.
Thank you. That I need to do better and I want to do better. And I'm so excited to do this study with you ladies
I'm very
from Texas in the fall and study it together with someone because it helps me with accountability. But it's also a topic that I am super interested in. And I hope it develops some habits in me that I can absolutely see within you that I admire.
I appreciate that. Just so you know, been a believer for 32 years. And it wasn't until the last 6 that I really could read my Bible and understand it and wanted to. And it wasn't until 2022 that I actually chose to read my Bible cover to cover. And it was a lifeline for me then. So doesn't mean that it's overnight, and it's just a slow, steady growth.
We all need friends like you who are deep in it and have already...
Oh, I'm not that deep in it, though.
But you're deeper than me.
It's similar to the class that we had when the guy said, it doesn't matter it does not matter how old you are, you're older than someone else. Well, it doesn't matter how deep you are in the Bible, you're deeper than someone else. And you are deeper in the Bible than I am. And I don't even hesitate to text you. I'll be in Texas on Sunday morning and I'll hear something in Sunday school or I'll hear it in sermon and I'll whip out my phone because I'm going to forget if I don't. And I immediately text her. I'm like, Amber, what does this mean? Or what is this? Or what is it? I don't Google it. I Amber it.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
And then
you're a
Amber
now.
Google it.
Yes, sure. That's fine.
No, and I've asked God for this. I've asked God for women who want to do life and dig in deep and ask the hard questions. And I may never know the answer. And I may go, this is my favorite line of Bible study. Jessica will second this. We have some women who really want to understand it and make it make sense. And my favorite, she's one of them, but there's a couple more that are way more extreme than you. My favorite line is, this is all the information we were given. We have to take it on faith and trust God and then watch the movie in heaven.
Watch the movie in heaven.
Like Genesis, there's 1,500 years between creation and Noah. We have no clue what went on. So just got to take it on faith, trust God, watch the movie in heaven. It'll be a fascinating movie.
Yeah, it will.
Okay, I have another one.
Okay.
Same as talking about Bible. No wrong answers. It is not a test. This is what's your favorite Bible story, the ones you know and the ones you like and the ones you've heard.
Ecclesiastes.
Or book of the Bible.
Oh, okay.
Or book of the Bible. Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes.
Why?
It was the first book I read from the Old Testament in its entirety, and it is all about vanity and how bad vanity is.
It's a good one. It was not a hard one to get through.
No. No.
Well, I have 2 that I like.
Okay.
2 books of the Bible. I like the Revelations and I like Daniel. And the reason I like those 2 is because you're tying the end of the story to the beginning. Well, not the beginning, but closer to the front. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely love prophecy in the Bible. Of all sorts and all kinds, and I love digging into it. And what's intriguing to me about it is we don't know the answer. We don't know. And so you can say, this is what this means, and I can say, well, maybe. And people don't like that. They do not like that. And
love messing with those people.
Oh, I know. And you can say, well, the monsters in this book, they mean this and this and this. I'm like, well, maybe. But you don't know.
Right.
And so I love the prophecy that this is what this means and the imagery that comes along with it, and guessing. But for me, the Bible made no sense at all. It meant nothing at all until we studied Revelations. And I think what that meant to me, and all it was the light bulb going off of the millennial reign and heaven coming back, and basically reading the end of the book before you read the rest of the book. And then all of a sudden, the rest of the book started making sense because I knew the ending.
Experience.
And so I love connecting. My favorite is Revelations, but I like finding the other pieces within the entire Bible that will predict and connect to the end of the story.
Okay, because I know you've studied it several times. I just learned something like 3-4 weeks ago when we started Isaiah. The last third of Isaiah is all about, I knew the prophecies of Jesus, but there's prophecies of the end times in the last few chapters of Isaiah.
Are there?
There are. I did not know this.
You know what? I did know that.
I did know
sure
that.
you
You
knew
knew that. Do I know where they're at? No.
Yeah, I'm really bad at dates and names and numbers.
Revelation, there's a lot of it in the Old Testament. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Ezekiel speaks about. I'm really excited to get to Ezekiel.
Me too.
We're
I'm just
studying
excited to
that
be out of
this
Kings
fall.
and Chronicles.
We're so close. You said you're studying.
We're studying Ezekiel this fall, and I'm super excited about it. Down in Texas on our Wednesday night, and I'm really excited about that to see how they pull those pieces out and connect it as well.
It'll be interesting.
I have a story.
You have a story? Tell your story.
Well, no, Job. I think about Job a lot. Like a lot. Probably more than
I do too.
any other than Jesus. I don't know. I just think about, like, when I'm going through something difficult, I just think about Job and all the crap that happened to him. And that is one of we talked about Job a lot when we got to it in our year-long Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the harder ones to wrestle with, that story, because he's presented as an innocent man.
Yeah.
It's like, all right,
just test him.
Yep. Here's the shit show. What are you going to do?
Yep.
So,
and not breaking.
Right.
That's the better thing. So speaking of Job, I was talking to my brother, not the married brother, Stephen. I was like, wait, I've got to. Gotta clarify that. And they're both younger. That wouldn't have worked. And I asked him a question, and we were talking, and he brought up Job 2:10, and it's Job responding to his wife, and she says, his wife said to him, "Are you still holding on to your integrity? Curse God and die." So Job's response to her is, "You speak as a foolish woman speaks." Ouch. He told her, "Should we only accept good from God and not adversity?" Throughout all this, Job did not sin in what he said. I think we missed that when we studied it, but like towards the beginning of your story, you were talking about hard things, and you were talking about not being able to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that came into my brain because I shared it in the Get to Know Jessica and I podcast. But I also, as you know, God has clearly said no to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, am I only supposed to accept the good from God? And I thought about that and I went, no, we're not only supposed to accept the good from God. And so when you said Job, it made me think about that because...
Well, it ties into the scripture. Don't know where this is.
I'll go
but it's like adversity builds character. Character builds faith. I don't remember exactly.
Talking about this one? I think I know what you're talking about.
Probably. See how she can just say, here it is.
Probably because I studied this for 6 months straight, if I'm right. Consider a great joy, my brothers and sisters, when you experience various trials, because you know the testing of your faith produces endurance, and let the endurance have its full effect so that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing.
That's not the one, but that also works. Let me see if I can find it.
I know what she's talking about, but I couldn't even begin to tell you where it is.
I had a friend in high school that got it tattooed on her leg, and I didn't know it was scripture at first. And then when I learned it was scripture, it just like blew my mind. Let me see if I can find it. Scripture. And it was like, Romans 5:3-5. Not only that, but we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us.
interesting that Job, which chronologically comes right after creation, and now we're into, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose it.
Isaiah.
No, Romans. Who wrote Romans? Peter? Paul? I don't know. Peter or Paul? I think it was Paul. If I'm wrong, Google it. It's fine. You can look it up for yourself. And then into James towards the end of the Bible, and it's still that same theme of like endurance and adversity, and it's not all good from God. Like Paul. Gotta be right on something sometime.
It's usually Paul.
It's Paul wrote most of the New Testament, so it was a good guess. But like that, it's still a theme throughout Scripture.
Well, it's because God knows, they know life sucks and bad things are going to happen, and it's constant. It's going to be a theme throughout because Jesus hadn't come back yet.
Right.
So we either endure or we don't.
Well, and it's a consequence of free will.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have free will, we have to endure the consequence of sin and the gravity of sin. And it's heavy beyond what we can even understand. I think it's a grace that we've been shielded from the actual depth and weight of sin.
Well, we still have free will in the millennial reign and forever after. Like in eternity, after Jesus come back and the world is new and all the things, will we still have free will?
I don't know if the Bible says, but I would guess that we do. Because I've heard arguments made, and I don't think the Bible says explicitly, so this is like complete speculatory territory. But I've heard a lot of theories that Satan had free will and he chose to fall. I mean, it doesn't really matter either way, but
well, now that I think about
it stands to reason that we will, and because we've chosen him, we'll have a whole new set of choices that don't include sin, and we'll be in his presence and have chosen being in his presence.
Well, and now that I think about it and I ask it out loud, they say that the Bible says that the people in the millennial reign, at the very end, when he does the final judgment, people are going to choose Satan.
Yeah.
And so obviously, now that I think about it out loud, through that time, we obviously will have free will because people are still, even though he is right there in front of them, they're still going to not choose him, which blows my mind.
No kidding.
So obviously, we will still have some sort of free will.
Well, this reality, to me, it feels like a gauntlet, and us exercising our consciousness and our free will and our ability to choose, and learning here why you don't choose sin, so that when we get to heaven, we'll know that will be behind us and we can choose all the good stuff and hopefully like go build a spaceship and see a supernova or something.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be fun.
You shouldn't need a spaceship. You can just go.
As long as I get to see a supernova, I'm fine.
Like, no spaceship required. I have a question for Jessica.
Wait, you didn't answer your favorite
That's true. You didn't.
book or story.
I didn't?
Or
Oh, I thought I had. I'm sorry. My bad. So I love the Psalms.
I knew you were going to say that.
I stinking love the Psalms. They've gotten me through so many hard times. But my favorite story, one of my top favorite stories, is the woman of the issue of blood when God heals her. And it is a very personal story with my health journey, and then learning the law and the unclean. It's really, we should mean the word unfit, not unclean. And what a risk that was of faith for her to go touch the hem of his robe, his garment, to be healed when she was not supposed to be anywhere near anyone. Like, I love that story and the faith in it.
It's very powerful.
It's my one of my favorites. That and the story of which one's on the back of my Bible? Oh,
The tent spike.
That's a good one.
You bring her up a lot. Deborah, right? Was that Deborah?
It was a lady in the story of Deborah. It's in Judges 9. The woman who caught in adultery. I also love that story. The back of my Bible has it on it, and It's John 8, 6 through 11. Jesus stooped down. So this is after the men of the temple. The men brought her and like, hey, she's an adulterous woman. They probably all slept with her. Let's be really honest.
That's how they know.
Potentially the temple prostitute, right?
Yeah, potentially. There's speculation that was the case. So this is where Jesus comes in, and it says, Jesus stooped down and started writing on the ground with his finger. When they persisted in questioning him, he stood up and said to them, the one without sin among you should be the first to throw a stone at her. Then he stooped down again and continued writing on the ground. When they had heard this, they left one by one, starting with the older man. Only he was left with the woman in the center. When Jesus stood up, he said to her, woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you? No one, Lord, she answered. Neither do I condemn you. Jesus said, go from here now and do not sin anymore. I just love the picture of grace in a society where technically she should have been stoned.
Mm-hmm.
But then he called her up into more.
Did you have that Bible custom made?
No, I ordered it.
Interesting.
They just perfectly picked it.
Interesting.
And then I picked it up because they did it perfectly.
So I have a question
Mm-hmm.
for both of you,
Okay.
and then I can answer at the end. Do you have a situation in your life or a story or an event or something where I think I know what you might say, Amber, but where you have beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Lord was speaking to you?
Oh boy.
And yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So, okay, let me sit back up. About 7 years ago, I think I don't know if it doesn't matter. About 7 years ago, right before I rededicated my faith, I was kind of dabbling in, new agey, like chakra and Reiki and kind of Wiccan crap. And I did acid for the first time that summer. It's the only other thing. I've never been drunk, but I did acid once. And I started having really bad death anxiety after that, to the point where like I couldn't sleep because I was afraid that if I went to sleep, I wasn't going to wake up. So one night I just stoned out of my mind. I decided I was just going to lean into it and see what happened. And I had what I can only describe as a vision of hell. And it was like split second, but it might as well have been eternity. And it was nothing. It was this consciousness, but nothing. And I knew I was separate from God's love. I was separate from hope, and that it was for eternity. I have to back up just a little bit because around that time, I was I'm cursing a lot tonight. Sorry. I was being a dumbass on social media. And if there was OnlyFans back then, I definitely would have started an OnlyFans. I was getting a lot of attention on social media. My eating disorder was at its height again, so I was pretty thin. And I was posting pretty provocative stuff on the internet. And I remember exactly where I was too. I had thought of like, because I had lots of questions that nobody could ask or answer growing up about the church. So I went off on my own to start finding these answers, and inevitably that takes you away from God at first. So I had gotten to a point where I was getting ready to publicly denounce Jesus. Like, Jesus, this is all garbage. None of it's real. And I remember like that moment, that still small voice is like, wait a second. Don't do that yet. Don't cross that line yet. And then shortly after that is when I had the vision of hell, and it snapped me out of it. I didn't immediately turn back to Jesus, but I stopped dabbling in all the crap. And around that time, my ex had a friend who tried to kill himself and essentially succeeded. He was declared dead for like 5 minutes or so. And he said that he saw black, he saw nothing. And then after my experience, I got to thinking about, those are the only two things you hear about people with near-death experiences, is either it's black or they see heaven. And it stands to reason for me that this consciousness in nothing forever, I don't know that you can get any worse than that. Knowing you chose it, knowing you're separate from God, And at one point, my mom and I I'd have to dig, but I think there's even scripture that talks about when you're in hell, you can see heaven, and you know what you've missed out on. So that was a pretty clear smack to the face of, Jessica, get your act together, because you're heading in the wrong direction.
Wow. That's crazy. I can't imagine an entirety of nothing and black and separation.
Yeah.
And with what you said, I know there's somewhere in the Bible they're talking about how the guy in hell is talking and he's like, just give me a drop of water off his finger or whatever, because he can see heaven. And he's like, you're right there, just help. And wow, that's pretty.
Scared me straight.
I bet it did. So that was your quick image of hell was just nothing, just black. So not like what they like to draw up, no fire, no demons.
Fire. And I didn't put the pieces together until much later. And it's like, actually, I think it was when I had asked my ex about, because I was kind of friends with this dude too, and I wanted to make sure he was okay. And he told, his name is Joe. He told my ex that he saw nothing. And that's when it clicked in my brain. It's like, those are the only two things you hear about near-death experiences. It's either nothing or it's heaven. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's just black and it's peaceful. And I could see where it would be peaceful for a second, but then being stuck in that forever.
So what happened with him? What did he take from that experience? Do you know?
I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't talk to my ex much anymore. And he is in Idaho. Last I knew, this kid was in Idaho, and he was using meth and just being a crazy person. I don't think in that moment it rattled him very much.
Right. Okay, Amber.
Just for encouragement, you were both correct. You spot on told that story.
What? I never do that.
Spot on. And I had to Google it. It's Luke 16:19 through 31.
I'm excited.
I needed that. So I shared this on probably the Get to Know Jessica and I podcast. But I'll share it again. I have two instances. One was October of 2018. Pastor John in Texas at Cross City Church was preaching on the story of Abraham sacrificing Isaac on the altar. And at the end of service, he said, "What are you sacrificing?" And I very clearly heard God say, "Sacrifice the desire to be a mom." Not to be a mother, but the desire. It was a major idol in my life. And so it took work. It took 6 months. It was preparation for 22 when my world fell apart and the truth about my ex-husband came out. And God said, "Do not defend yourself. Do not tell your side of the story. Let me fight for you." And it made doing that easier. It made only telling the select few people God allowed me to tell versus having to have everybody know my side of the story and why I was right and what was going on, even to the point of taking it not well, but on the inside and with my people. When a pastor looked at me and said, "You need to check the Holy Spirit because God hates divorce," even after hearing my ex-husband lied, after hearing what really happened, it was still, I was in the wrong because I was the one filing for divorce and leaving. And so having to shut your mouth and not fight for yourself in that moment was really hard. But God had prepared me for that and continues. There's a lot of times where I just have to shut my mouth and not say anything because God knows my mouth will get me in trouble.
Amen to that. For me.
Always get me in trouble. I mean, it did today. My mouth got me in trouble today.
We're okay though.
I know we are. I very openly, because I haven't sent you any of the episodes, I very openly admit my faults. I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's my problem. Or we're talking to somebody, I'm like, all right, Lord, you're right. I don't hide away from it. Okay, what about you?
So I have two very strong moments in my life, and this goes back to some of the things I was talking about earlier today. But the biggest time and the first time I heard the Lord talking to me, he talked through Pastor John as well.
Something about that man.
And man, he's so good. He's so powerful. And so I had been struggling about not being a mom. And so I'm going to tell my Laura story. I'll make it. I know. I had to find a way to get it in there.
I was going to ask.
But it's such a powerful moment. So I not able to have kids, and first year of marriage, my husband was like, well, if you ever want to talk about adoption, we can have that conversation. I was like, oh, okay. So that eased the pressure. Fast forward 8 years and past the time you'd even think about it. And my in-laws, so his brother and her wife were foster family, and they were having kids in and out, and they were helping them get back into homes and things like that. And all of a sudden comes this cute little girl. She's 2. She's just stinking adorable. And there's something about her. And she was like the 9th or 10th kid that they'd had. And I didn't have a connection to any other kid that they'd had, but there was something about this kid. And funnily enough, her birthday is the day before my husband's birthday. So for her 3rd birthday, she was still with my in-laws. We had a joint birthday party. So my husband's birthday cake was Doc McStuffins. And so we had a 3rd birthday for Laura and Scott at the same time at the family Christmas. And that has become a tradition, not Doc McStuffins, but the joint birthday. And that night on the way home, I was telling Scott, I was like, oh my gosh, there's something about this kid. I'm falling in love with this kid. I can't let it go. And he's like, girl, do you know how old we are? He's like, and he is 8 years and 2 weeks older than me. So and at that time, he has a daughter. She was 15 at the time. No. Yes, 15 at the time. And so I was like, oh, what? You know what? You're probably right. It's fine. Not a big deal. So fast forward through the holidays coming up, Easter, all the things, and we see them, and it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Her parental rights were terminated in May the following year. And fast forward to 4th of July weekend, and we were having a big party at our house for the 4th of July. Our community does fireworks and stuff. And she was at the pool, and she had been told that her parental rights were terminated. And unfortunately, it was not a good fit with our in-laws. So the play therapist had told her that they were going to help her find a forever home. So my daughter started to go shopping. So we were in the pool, and she looked at me and she asked me if I would be her new mommy. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was just like, look over there, a butterfly. Anyway, so we go home, and she wanted to watch a movie upstairs, and there's like 80,000 remotes, and I don't know how to make it work. So I was super curious if she would talk to Scott, because at that time she was terrified of men. She would not talk to men due to the things she's been through. And unless they look like Santa Claus, she'd talk to him then. But she would not talk to Scott's brother, who looks a lot like him. And so I was just curious. So I picked her up and I said, we're going to go ask Uncle Scott if he can turn it on for you. So she said, okay. So we went down there, and I was holding her. I said, go ahead, you can ask Uncle Scott. And she looks at me and looks at him. I was like, it's okay, honey, you can ask. And she goes, will you be my new daddy?
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
So your kid?
Oh, it so is. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, that is not what she was supposed to ask. That was planned. She was supposed to ask you to put on Netflix. So this was on Saturday. They go home. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. So they go home. Sunday morning, we were at church. This is where Pastor John comes in. And we did a thing at that time called the Jericho Challenge, where he had asked us all week long for 6 days to pray about something that was going on. And then on the 7th day, to lay it at the altar and come down and pray over it and lay it at the Lord's feet. So by golly, I went down there that Sunday and I said, Lord, I don't know what you want me to do. Am I supposed to be her mom, or do you have a better plan? If you have a better plan, please shut this door and help me heal from this and move on. Or if you want me to do this, just tell me and I will jump right now. And so Pastor John closed the prayer, and immediately right after that began talking about adoption.
Oh my goodness.
And he was talking about our pregnancy center and stuff, but I heard it. He was talking about adoption and the children that need you and the children that are being saved and things like that. And I was like, holy cow. And I got chill bumps thinking about it right now. So sure enough, that day at lunch, Brooke happened to be with us for church that day. And I sat them down and I was like, I've fallen in love with Laura and we have an amazing family and I think we need to adopt her. And they were like, and they made it work. And we hit stumbling block after stumbling block because we had to be licensed to foster, but we were not going to be a revolving door. We were doing it for a specific child. And the foster agencies didn't want to help us because we weren't worth it financially. But we found a Christian agency that was willing to do it. But the problem is we had 30 days or she was going to get put on the adoption list.
Oh my goodness.
This is normally a 90-day program. We had 30 days to get this completed. And sure enough, because of the grace of God and the stubbornness of my husband and this amazing Christian company, we got licensed. She got placed with us. And the following year, she got placed with us when she was 3. And then it became official when she was 4. And ironically, her adoption day is the same day as my former, my previous husband. I have a whole story there, but that was our anniversary date.
Oh, wow.
So I got to reclaim that date for something so much better. But I can still to this day hear the words that John was saying directly to my heart because God was speaking right through him. And that it was just so powerful. And I'm so grateful to have Laura today. The other thing that happened was very, very recently where we had been asked, my husband and I have been asked to be directors of a new young marrieds class. They're graduating out of a newlywed class and creating their own young marrieds class, and they needed directors. And so we were asked to do that. And me and my insecurities were like, there's no way. I'm not old enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't know enough of the Bible. I can't do this. And so Scott and I were praying about it. And I was like, well, I guess I did it again. I was like, Lord, if you want me to do this, just let me know. Sure enough, the next Sunday after I said that, we were in this thing that we call Fifth Sunday in our Sunday school where all of the married people that is 50 and below, we have a big group. Everybody's in one big Sunday school class and everybody brings breakfast. It's a big thing. And they have a speaker come in. And this speaker was talking about mentoring other people and being there for other people. And he was saying, that's what I had said earlier. His quote was, it does not matter how old you are older than someone else. It doesn't matter how much you know more than someone else, and you can be there and you can help them. And I was like, well, here we go again. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I hear you. And we accepted the call and we have moved into this month transitioning into learning them and hearing about them and them learning about us. And then come here at the very beginning of September, it'll be our class.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I'm scared, but I'm excited.
I think you'll do fantastic.
I do too. And if you don't do it scared, I would be a little more worried. You weren't scared?
Yeah,
absolutely.
A little more worried. One last question, because we have hit our record.
Sweet. Broke the record.
It's going to be fun.
Yes.
What emoji best describes your life right now and why? I don't know. I just picked the first one I saw. This is how my brain rolls.
I need to maybe look at emojis. Is there a smiley face that's torn in half? Because that's what I feel like right now.
I think mine is the upside down smiley face.
And why?
My life feels so upside down right now and in so much turmoil, but I still try very, very hard to push through and find something funny and find something to be happy about and to be stupid and silly. And I cannot tell you how many times, even just this week that I've been with you, that I've looked at you and said something dumb and you're like, dumb. And you're like, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, but at least you're crazy or anything like that. So
you say the right words and you break out into song.
Oh yes. I love breaking out into 2 or 3 word songs. It's great. So yep. Upside down smiley face.
There's not one being torn in half because that would definitely be it. But the other one is probably the melting smiley face.
That's what I was thinking.
It's smiling, but it's melting. Like, this is fine.
Well, you're not in Texas.
It has nothing to do with the heat.
I know, I was joking.
Ooh, or the one that's the lines and dots.
I'm lost on that one.
Like
I'll
the
show you.
invisible looking smiley.
Kind of.
It's a straight face.
Oh yeah.
Like
I've never
sometimes,
seen that one.
It's
Girl.
a new one.
Oh, okay.
sometimes I feel like I'm invisible and I'm like, I don't know what, like,
I've heard you say that, yeah.
I mean, just today, kind of. Yeah, so that's a fun one. So really and truly, I accidentally lied. Anything you want. What is one thing you want people to take out of this podcast and remember? Like whether it's exact quotes or like sentiment.
I think I would like them to recognize that they don't have to have it together. And there are friends out there that you either know or are about to meet that can bring so much joy to your life, and you can like not have your crap together.
Fantastic.
Are you making me answer this too?
Yes.
I mean, I was going to say, do we just make the guest answer it?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
Fantastic.
It's the same. It's the same thing you and I talked about, and you'll just have to listen to that podcast to hear it because it's almost 10:30 and I am done.
We all need to go to bed.
Yeah, it's time.
Are we talking about the you and I one or the last one we did?
No, I think we talked about it. I think we talked about it the very first one that we did. It was just kind of laying the foundation for what we want this to be.
Gotcha. I agree with you, Jessica. And I agree with you, Sarah.
Okay, perfect.
So let's close it out with my favorite thing of what ChatGPT helped me write. And it says, this isn't about having the answers. It's about being honest. Because grace doesn't start with those who have it all figured out. It starts with we who were not. Okay, love you. Bye.
Peace.